I know. Thing here.
Well, we can do. Well, you guys.
We're doing another cool live for you guys. We just finished watching NXT Battlegrounds. I'll let my buddy take over for the start for the ladder match, and he'll explain everything about the ladder match.
The ladder match, the NXT Women's North American title ladder match. Sorry, great match. I gave it a 4 out of 5. It was entertaining. The right woman won. Just gotta grab her name. I can't remember half the time.
I think it was Jada something.
Yeah, Jada. I can't remember either. I'm not gonna look it up. Well deserved. And we went on to more amazing. But that match did start to show up properly. Again, 4 out of 5. Women's wrestling stronger than ever in all professional wrestling, including NXT.
The tag team match between the Good Brothers and Nathan Frazier and Axiom was actually a really solid match overall. Both teams delivered a really good performance. I was back and forth for most of the match between the Good Brothers and Nathan Frazier and Axiom. Really good match. I would overall give it 4 out of 5 on that one. That was another solid addition to the pay-per-view. What was the other match that we missed on here? Let you get tracked up with the matches there.
I think it was the Underground man.
Oh no, the Oba Femi match versus Wesley and Coffee was amazing. Oba Femi is definitely proving to be one of the top talents in WWE for sure, especially in NXT. This was a solid event overall for NXT. I'd say a solid 4 out of 5 stars for this event. Definitely, I would think so. Probably the worst match for me would have had to go to the match between Lola Vice and Shayna Baszler. Being the MMA fan that I am of UFC and stuff like that, the NXT Underground match just doesn't do it for me. It doesn't have that authentic MMA experience that you look for in those kind of matches. I know when WWE did this a long time ago, when they had the match with Owen Hart and Ken Shamrock and the Lion's Den match, it made more sense. It was actually in a cage, which is kind of the way that this should have been, considering they're both mixed martial arts athletes. They're both former MMA fighters. It would have made sense to do this match as like a more of a MMA style kind of matchup, I think, for me. This was definitely one of the worst matches on the card. I would say this was maybe a 2.5 star match, maybe 3. Certainly wasn't what we thought it was going to be for sure. I mean, that was my first time seeing the NXT Underground matches. My buddy over here has seen a bunch more of them, so it's different. I mean, it is WWE's way of doing basically an MMA kind of style match, but not necessarily like the MMA style, I think. But Lola Vice proved that she's a heck of a talent. She's really good. She did a good job of carrying that match, I think, for the most part, against Shayna Baszler, who's really strong, and she got the win. But for me, as like a UFC fan, I have to rate it like a 2 because it just doesn't have that authentic mixed martial arts feel that I think that it should have. I'm not against the NXT Underground match. I think it's good. I just think they have to have a better concept for it, like when they did it with Shamrock and Owen with the Dragon's Den, or not Dragon's Den, but the Lion's Den match.
It was enough.
That was basically what like MMA kind of thing should have been. But this was their first collaboration with the UFC, so I thought this was pretty good. I'll let you review Jordan Grace's match.
Jordan Grace and Roxanne Perez. I think one of my favorite female matches of the card for the female side was that one. We got to see, if you haven't seen it, I'm not going to spoil anything. It was one of the best women's matches I've seen in a long time. The ending was very mad. When you do see, you'll understand. I hope we get another match between the two. I want to see a trilogy with those two. Again, I think that was the match for me, the match of the night. I give that a 4.9 out of 5, so not a 5 out of 5. We need to see more women's matches like that. Like, give them time in any company. But NXT gave them time. And I hope Jordan Grace gets to come back again and go again for that title. Because Roxanne and her put on a hell of a show and they had chemistry. They told a story where Shayna and Lola didn't. They dudded. So again, my friends right, again, I'm as well. 2 out of 5 for that one, but a 4.9 for the Grace and Roxanne Perez match. The other ones were, we have not many left to go. Oh, we have one more to go. I'll quickly do my review quickly. Ethan Page is getting praised for his match. I give that a 3 out of 5. I think Ethan Page needs. They need to tell him over a story between the two, and it was too quick for Page to get the title match. And for me, before he goes to his rest for that last match, for me the event was a solid 4 to 5. Like, it was entertaining. You know, we got storyline. I think Ethan Page is not done with Trick Williams, and I hope that they wait and let Ethan train a little bit first. For wrestling fans, I'd recommend, if you have the network or if your stick has it or if your friend taped it, do watch it and give us your own opinion. But tonight, it was a fun night for wrestling fans. That's my opinion. I'll let my friend end this with his fun review on the last match and the pay-per-view as a full. Oh, not pay-per-view.
All right, going on the Ethan Page one.
Damn it.
What time is it? The event just ended. It's actually like 10:45 here. But like the Ethan Page match was not bad. It wasn't great though. Ethan, I found, like, for as good of a wrestler and for a wrestler that's been wrestling as long as he has, Ethan made a lot of mistakes tonight. A lot of mistakes that he shouldn't have made. A lot of botches on certain moves that the guy's been wrestling for a long time that he shouldn't have made those mistakes. Trick Williams did a really good job of that match. He definitely carried most of it. Ethan landed a couple cool offensive moves in that match. I think he did. There wasn't a lot of offense really that Ethan Page did that overly impressed me a whole lot. Being a fan of WWE and AEW, I think a lot of AEW fans aren't going to be sad to see Ethan Page go. Because he's really, like, based on tonight, he's really not that good. He needs a lot of work. And I know, like, he's got fans all over the place, and I think he's great, but I think AEW is not going to count this as a huge loss for them, Ethan Page, because he's really not. He's another talent that just, I think if he can't get the proper training and get into the shape that he needs to get into, he's another guy that I can see easily get buried in WWE in the NXT locker room for sure. There's so much talent in NXT. Trick Williams is super talented. And again, he carried that match perfectly. Ethan made botches that he shouldn't have made and mistakes that he really shouldn't have done, considering that, like, we've seen Ethan Page wrestle a lot in AEW, and for me as a fan of Ethan Page, I wasn't overly impressed with him tonight. I was glad that WWE pulled the trigger and had Trick Williams retain. Because for me, I think, like, if you go in to a title match not having built up enough of, like, the winning streak to get into it and just get the title off the back, I think you're just going to upset and piss off a lot of the locker room in the back. You're going to anger a lot of the guys if they were to put the title on Ethan Page tonight, I think. The same goes with the Jordan Grace match. I mean, the Jordan Grace match wasn't bad, but I think WWE made the right choice there with Roxanne Perez. I know a lot of people don't like that choice. I think that was the right choice because you don't want to put over another brand on your own show. Like, as good as TNA is, you don't necessarily want to put over the Impact wrestler like Jordan Grace over your own talent like Roxanne Perez, especially in a match like that on NXT. If they have the rematch in TNA, then absolutely you put Jordan over, but I think on your own show like that, it's not really the smartest idea to put over your own or your enemy company over in that match. But Roxanne put up a good fight. I thought that match was solid. Ethan Page match, I'd probably give it a 3. 3.5, 3.2. Ethan needs a lot of work, but if he can get the training in, if he can get back to the Ethan Page that we know and love, the one that came from AEW, the one who went on multiple winning streaks, won titles with Scorpio Sky and stuff. If we see that Ethan Page back, I think he's really going to stand a chance in NXT.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if we get this same version of Ethan Page, and he's going to continue, like, he's just going to get buried.
Mm-hmm.
He's not going to get anywhere.
100%.
So I think, like, overall, the whole card overall, I think it's a solid 3.9 for me. Not quite the 4 or the 5, but that's just because of the Ethan Page match. Overall, not a bad card. The women's ladder match was amazing. The tag team match with the Good Brothers against Fraser and Axiom was a really good match. Obafemi versus Wesley and Joe Coffey was a really good match. They also got stuff started there with Gallus, which I think is really cool. So we'll be interested to see where they go with that. The NXT Underground match, we briefly touched on that. That was terrible. I give that one a 2. Being an MMA fan, a fan of UFC, I don't like WWE's version of the mixed martial arts thing. I kind of think it's like a joke compared to like what they do in UFC for sure. I think it's a big time joke what they're doing with the NXT Underground. But it was okay. It was mild entertainment. The Jordan Grace match was very entertaining, back and forth fight. Both women left it all in the ring. That was very good. It's a solid 4-star match. Then we go to Ethan Page's match, which was okay. I give it a 3 out of 5. Trick Williams basically carried that match. But Trick has been a great champion. And I'm really happy with getting to see my first NXT event. I thought it was really good. Solid 3.9 out of 4 stars. I'm definitely intrigued on the next one. I believe the next one coming up for NXT will be Heatwave, which is actually in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. So that one will be really cool to see what they do for Heatwave. The rumor is Julia is going to make her debut with WWE for Heatwave, possibly. I don't know about the injury status, but we'll have to wait and see. If you guys enjoy the wrestling reviews here, we're going to have another one for you guys coming up at the end of the month on the 30th, where we're going to review AEW Forbidden Door with New Japan. Some absolute bangers announced for the Forbidden Door so far, too. We got Jon Moxley versus Tatsuya Naito for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. Will Ospreay versus Swerve Strickland for the AEW World Championship. What else do we have for that card that's a banger? Supposedly Orange Cassidy and Zack Sabre Jr., but we'll have to wait and see on that one. Jeff Cobb will be on there too. We're doing an open challenge, so. And another one that I did forget, actually, whoops, is Stephanie Vacour versus Mercedes Moné. First time we get to see Mercedes Moné wrestle on the Forbidden Door pay-per-view, so I'm definitely excited to see what they do on that one. That's going to be really cool. So our next wrestling ones, guys, will be the Forbidden Door AEW style. So hopefully you guys enjoyed our quick little review of NXT Battlegrounds. If you haven't checked it out yet, guys, definitely check it out on the WWE Network. Your home for all things WWE and staying on WWE quickly. If you guys want to check out their next event, it's an early one. I believe it's at 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, somewhere around there. 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock next week, guys, is Clash at the Castle. Drew McIntyre, which I'm not even going to get started on, versus Damian Priest for the WWE Championship. AJ Styles versus Cody Rhodes, the American Nightmare, in an I Quit match. Definitely one you guys don't want to miss. Clash at the Castle next Saturday at 2 o'clock on the WWE Network. And on that note, guys, we'll see you on the next one. Thank you so much.